Anyone have any last words?
If we do not survive this, I just want to say, I could not have asked for better friends. You have stood by me, and I by you. To the end.
To the end.
To the end.
To the end.
On 3! 1, 2, 3! As viewers, we seem to love nothing more than a hero's final stand. A moment where they fight for everything they believe in to go out in a complete and epic blaze of glory. And during Ninjago's penultimate season titled Seabound, that's exactly what we got with the fan-favorite sacrifice of Nia. In a sad turn of events in the penultimate episode of the season, Nia Smith had to sacrifice herself by merging with the sea in order to defeat Wojira. But unfortunately, all that was undone in the most recent season, being the final season, crystallized. Given that we were heading into the grand finale of an 11-year run, the fact that the showrunners took back such a game-changing decision from the previous season meant that fans were expecting that they had some pretty major deaths in line to bring back such a major death from the previous season. And I want to make this clear, this isn't coming from some deep bloodlust within me or, oh, I want Ninjago to be dark and gritty like it's the Batman. No, it's coming from genuine fans that would agree some characters need to die. Ninjago starts as a small and humble story of good versus evil and father versus son.
Father would not want you to do this, brother.
And a genuine friendship between amazing characters. But the creator's obsession and love for these characters is exactly what stops the story from truly moving forward. Season after season, the ninja are put through challenge after challenge, keeping the characters in a safe zone always. Or they quote-unquote kill them off just for them to return perfectly fine only a handful of episodes later. And that's the problem for a lot of stories nowadays, is that there's an overly present idea that the characters you love must make it to the end of the story, but you're playing with such a huge cast of characters, the story gets lost. There's a big difference between story and plot. You could almost think of the story like the bounty, and the plot as the engine flying the characters as passengers through the sky. Many pieces of media are too dead set on focusing solely on the passengers, and the trouble with having so many passengers in the bounty is that they become the focal point. One of the best things Attack on Titan has gotten right is personal consequences. Danger only feels real if we as the audience see the consequences of the threat, and those consequences only click if they fully impact both the plot and the characters. Spoilers ahead for Attack on Titan's final season. In the final season, after Eren attacks Marley and what our heroes think is a joyful moment of pure victory, Gabi Brun, a young warrior trained to inherit the Armored Titan, sneaks aboard their ship just as our characters are escaping the land they attacked. Upon arriving in the ship in a game-changing and heartbreaking scene, Gabi shoots and kills fan-favorite beloved character Sasha Browse, who has been there since the beginning.
Sasha!
This, though breaking the hearts of many fans, was never a plot point that could be removed, as it serves as a direct consequence for the actions Eren and the scouts took in the episodes prior, setting the tone for the remaining episodes of the final season. Character deaths are important because they represent a tangible and relatable change in the story. It's not just a way to throw sorrow onto characters or show how dark and edgy a show can be. It's a tool like any other that can be used to change the course of the story when it feels stagnant. Or it can even be a solution to a common problem where the cast just gets too big. During the 7th season of one of my favorite shows, The Walking Dead, characters Glenn Rhee and Abraham Ford were both killed off in the season's premiere episode, The Day Will Come When You Won't Be. These deaths function perfectly in many ways. They introduced the new villain of the series, that being Negan, showing right off the bat that he's not someone to be messed with, making sure he's introduced as an actual threat to the characters. They startle the audience because not one but 2 major characters are also removed from the narrative equation.
You bunch of pussies. I'm just getting started.
further developing the remaining cast of characters, specifically Maggie, who was pregnant with Glenn's child. What could be seen as a cheap ploy for shock value is actually a perfectly constructed death to gain the maximum amount of impact on the characters and the narrative. And this raises expectations for the rest of the show. And on a marketing level, not that LEGO would understand what that means when it comes to Ninjago, deaths get the audience talking more about the show, bringing a level of fear and worry if their fan-favorite characters are going to make it out of the next story event. When anything can happen and no character is safe, it often leads to theories and speculation. Who lives, who dies? There is so much unknown in the story, and it gets all of us talking. We so often have the end of the world thrown at us in an attempt to have stakes in the story. The idea that if our heroes fail, the world will succumb to evil, and let's be real here, as the audience, we don't care. We don't care about the entire world. End of the world is such a huge number that it just becomes meaningless as you already know the end result. But when you lose a main character during that fight, someone you've watched grow and changed over many seasons throughout the years, it suddenly becomes a lot more real, truly raising the stakes of the narrative. When we love a character, it is truly heartbreaking to see them die. We desperately search for ways they could have survived the tragedy. When killing off a character, you need to do it for the right reasons. Why they die must be earned and impact the narrative in a meaningful way and not just be the hero's motivations for the next season. On the other hand, bringing back a character who has once died can also impact the story in a negative way, and as doing this repeatedly can cause audiences to lose interest or any sense of stakes within the story, destroying all the work put in to have those stakes in the first place. People are so caught up on seeing their characters make it to the end that when a character dies or something bad happens, when there's a change, they could be outraged. But without change, we're left with stagnant stories. Characters doomed to be stuck in one place and never truly grow. Ninjago has become so dead set on keeping our main characters alive, so much that when they try and raise the stakes, we as the audience just don't care. So any hint of the story changing or developing is almost immediately solved with them making it out alive again. From Zane at the end of the rebooted or Cole in March of the Oni, Nia in the Pan-Ultimate season. This all shows that the creators will go leaps and bounds to keep these characters alive even if it hurts the narrative of the story, repeating the cycle of never growing or changing, leaving us with a stagnant and unsatisfying story.